Welcome to another installment of Advancing the Common Good with United Way of the Lewis and Clark area. I'm Dana and I'm the Director of Development and Marketing for United Way here in Helena. And I'm really excited today to be joined by a very special guest, my boss, Alison Munson.
Thank you so much, Dana, for having me here today.
Absolutely. So, Alison, you recently received an invitation to Washington, D.C. Can you tell me a little bit about who extended the invitation and what the trip was all about?
Yes, so United Way Worldwide invited me to Washington, D.C. to attend advocacy training with many of my other counterparts across the United States. I was personally invited because we have a senior senator, Senator Tester, and Senator Daines, who is the most, he was the most prominent freshman senator his first year, and they think that those are two senators that have some power. And one of the areas that we were really focusing on was the SNAP benefits bill. As United Way Worldwide, they set many areas, and every year we go and do advocacy on the Hill. And so this year, because of the committees that our senators sit on, I had subject matter to speak to each one of them on, and then also to ask them for their support as to promote the bipartisan bill for SNAP, because it is a bipartisan bill. And it was exciting to see how everything was in the action. So I had 3 days of training. And then they sent me up there and I got to meet, unfortunately, it was a really busy day on the Hill. That was kind of the part when they're having the border issues with refugees and their children. So it was chaotic up there. I mean, there were picketers and all of these things. So I wasn't able to meet with the senior staff of Tester's office, but I was able to meet with one of his other staff members, which was great. And Senator Daines, I met with his senior staff, and I was on my way out and I'm going down the hall to leave, and I'd already gotten through all my subject matter with his team, and they ran out and grabbed me and they said, Senator Daines was so sad that he missed your meeting. He just got in and he was hoping we could catch you. So I actually got to go back in and talk to Senator Daines. I didn't have to talk to him about issues. It was more personal then because his staff was going to share everything that I talked about. So it was a pretty neat experience. That's the second time I've been there for Worldwide, and it's an experience.
That's wonderful. Oh my goodness.
And the other thing is people don't realize we're a worldwide organization, and we have 1,200 United Ways just here in our nation. That day on the Hill, we had 42 states represented and 91 advocates up there. So 91. So we really made a huge presence known in what the issues are under our mission of health, education, prosperity, and poverty. So we got to educate people.
That's great. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was quite so big.
It was huge. And they do it every year, so that's the great part is every year they give you the subject matter, they train you, and then send you on your way.
Now, you had a really interesting trainer that you were kind of telling me about a little bit before, and her name is Judy Schneider, and she literally wrote the book on how Congress works. Can you tell me a little bit about her training?
Oh, she was absolutely amazing. She's been up on the Hill for 42 years.
Wow.
She has trained freshman senators since that time, and if you want to know something about how the Hill works, the senators reach out to her. She is the all-knowing, and we got a long training with her, and she got to tell us the ins and outs of how government works, and it was pretty shocking. Things like the fact of just because your senator is writing a bill doesn't mean that it's actually going to go anywhere. They have a box where they go and put the bill that they wrote in the box, and 2,000 bills, I think is what she said, get submitted a year. It's been a couple weeks since I went.
Wow.
2,000 a year of bills are submitted, and only 200 will actually make it to the floor. So whether they're writing bills or not, if they're not, actually, they make all their movement in committee work. So that if it comes out of the committee, the bill is strong, it might end up on the floor. But yeah, she was just one of those forces to be reckoned with. I recommend anyone out there Google her, Judy Schneider, Congress training. She talks about when it became very challenging in her job after 9/11, sorry, and about 9/11, and that's when Congress really started to change. And since then, it's been very difficult up there. And so, yeah, she's an amazing woman. Just go listen to some of her information online.
That's amazing. So in addition to receiving training from Judy, what were some of the biggest highlights for you?
Oh my goodness. It's an amazing group. We get to nonprofits, many people might not know, we have to be nonpartisan. what we can advocate on is our mission. So if there is something within our mission that we can go and get both sides to agree on, that is what we need to do. And nonprofits, we are a large network and we're serving a lot of people. And by our ability to communicate that out and show that we're nonpartisan. And that was another thing Judy said. She really wishes that they'd get rid of the political party system and go to a nonpartisan, because we'd get a lot more done. But yeah, so to really get out there, go to your state legislature, go and talk about what you're advocating for, try to do the right thing. And so it was just a good experience.
Wow.
The days were long. It was great to meet with other states and see what other states are going through, because Montana is such a different animal than how other United Ways and other issues within, because like, yeah, some of the issues in one state are not the same as another, so.
Right. Well, Montana it feels a lot more removed from a lot of things because we don't have big metropolitan areas and huge population, so,
yeah.
Wow.
It was a really good experience. I'm hoping I'll get invited back next year, because when they invite you back, they pay, and that really helps our organization.
That's great. So advocacy is really important, and you obviously learned a lot in your trip to Washington, D.C. So what are you excited to bring back to help our neighbors and all Montanans?
Well, really taking a look at the issues and inviting people to advocate for the issues that United Way believes in. Reaching out, we're constituents, you know, and we should invite our donors to help us tell the legislators what we want and what our expectation is to make things better for everyone in our community. I learned a lot about how to do the approach, how to have the meetings, how to talk properly about the causes that you're advocating for, because it is keeping that political piece out of it and making it about the issue, not about the politics of it. You know, just how does it affect the people that United Way is trying to serve. So it's complicated, and some people don't think it's a good idea for nonprofits to advocate. But last year, I was up at the legislature talking about the Earned Income Tax Credit, which is the biggest anti-poverty alleviating tool for working poor families, families. And we knew it was important to pass that, because it's not about people having more kids to get that little extra. It's about promoting the fact that if you're hardworking, you deserve some more money back in your pocket. And I have to say that Earned Income Tax Credit for me personally, when I was a single mom, it made it so I could continue working in the summer when my daughter got childcare. So it's that kind of thing, and I have that story, and it's important to share your own personal story and how these things affect you, and also sharing the story of the people in your community to the politicians to say, hey, this is the reality. People are working hard, and it's not easy out there.
Wow. So. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing and for sharing your passion with our legislators and with Congress. That's really fantastic.
Well, thank you so much, Dana, for having me here today. And I hope that people will go out and look up Judy Schneider. And if we ask for people to advocate for those citizens within our community on certain issues, that you know it's not politically driven. It is really about just getting some things solved in our communities.
Great. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have learned a little bit more about United Way and why our work is important and how we're working to add value every time we really try to advance on an issue in our community. So we hope you'll join us next time, and until then, we hope you live united.